Hello everybody, welcome to the charting session for February 21st. I took two trades today. I lost one and I won one, and I'm going to be going over those. So first of all, starting out this morning, if we look at 10 a.m., we had swept a sell side liquidity, and I was wanting to see some sort of rejection off of it to indicate a sweep. So I was looking at NQ at the time. And let's first go over yesterday's action. So yesterday we had this external sell side sweep, and we also had an SMT being formed at the time that was at these lows right here. And I was wanting to see a turtle soup entry to target this this liquidity up here, which it never got met. But looking down at this time frame, the smaller time frame at the 5-minute. You can see that we swept this, came down, created this low, formed this SMT, and we ran back up. Now, at the time, I was a little upset that I missed this entry, but I also wanted to see some sort of a sweep to happen. So right here, we had this external sweep, and then we also had this internal sweep, which is manipulation. And I'm going to mark this right here. And then we also had displacement back up after this. And at this 15-minute, we had this fair value gap that I wanted to see run through. So here was the fair value gap right here. And I was wanting to see us run through this and then tap back into it. And looking at, I believe it was, yeah, this 5-minute, we had this propulsion block. So we ran through this 15-minute. We were up here. We created this propulsion block down. And I wanted to see us reject off of this 50% area on this propulsion block. And also we had this fair value gap and this breaker. So you can see with these two candles, we respected it pretty nicely. And then right here, I took my entry after we had closed right here. And I had my stop down at, if it's going to let me move this. I had my stop down. Initially, I had it down at this candle, and that's because I was expecting that possibly on this 3-minute that we may sweep these equal lows. But after we got this displacement back up, I moved my stop to break even, and I just let this trade run. This trade did take a long time. It lasted for about an hour, and I had to go to work, so right here I did take my position off, and I am happy that I did, because if I did let it run, it would have came back down here. And at the time, I did trail my stop up to this level right here. So yeah, it was a great trade. I made $70 on it, and the model played out perfectly. We took out this internal high and also this internal high. We tapped into this fair value gap, and we sold back down. And then this right here was the afternoon session, and we basically just consolidated. Usually when we consolidate, during a overnight session, I expect us to see a pretty volatile move into the open, but that did not happen here. And I think the reason why is because we kind of could have gone both ways. So going into this morning, I said that I had a pretty loose bias. I wanted to see, starting at, looking at this around here, I wanted to see what was going to happen. So right here was the, where's this first trade I took? 10 a.m. Okay, yeah. So this right here was the first trade I took, going down to the 1-minute time frame. And we had taken out this external sell side liquidity on a much higher time frame, and strong displacement back up. So I wanted to take a sort of a scalp, and I saw that we had bounced off this 1-minute, and we were respecting this order block. I put my entry in right here, and I put my stop below this candle's low. So right around here. Actually, no, it was right here. And it was a very, very quick trade I expected to see from this scalp, because this was turtle soup plus retraced the fair value gap. And after I got this displacement up right around here, I put my stop to break even to preserve my capital, and we took out this TP. So that was about a $70 win. And then I wanted to see us form sort of a power 3 and head higher. And right here, I sort of had a mistake because I was looking at a smaller time frame. I should have waited for us to tap into this breaker right here, and then seen the rejection off of that. But we did not tap the breaker, and I put my entry in right here and got stopped out right away. But that was only 1 micro. It was extremely small loss, and I'm not too upset about that. So the rest of the day, I didn't trade because, as you can see, we were just consolidating. We consolidated right here, and then even right here, and we didn't really pick up action until the afternoon session. But this was sort of like very, very late that we had a spike in volatility, and we started at like around 3 p.m. and we ran up, and right here we had this massive drive up, and we also are going through this 1 hour fair value gap. So looking at this does look pretty bullish for the next coming days. And another confluence with that is if we look at ES, we go to this 1 hour, you can see this entire range that I drew out. We have reached equilibrium, or we reached OTE here. But if I do extend this up to here, let me extend it up to this bigger range. Yeah, so this bigger range, we also did tap OTE. And then we rejected strongly off, and we had this SMT also play out. This is where the massive pump happened. So the way I would trade this right here, if I was wanting to look for a trade, I'd see this SMT, the massive displacement up, and then we have this fair value gap right here. So I would want to wait, especially since this was a massive move up very, very quickly. I want to see us tap back into a very discounted fair value gap just to protect us getting stopped out. So on this 5 minute, you can see that we did tap this 5 minute fair value gap. We perfectly wicked it. And if you're wanting to put an entry off that, you would put your long position a tick into this fair value gap, put your stop down at this swing low, and then you could target any resting liquidity, which may be sort of right here. This is there's equal highs right here. So that could have been an ES trade you could have taken today. But personally, I do not like to trade the market whenever the conditions are not that great, and that if it's like if it's like after 3 p.m. because usually the market doesn't have much volatility after them. So we did run up through this 1 hour. So where could I be seeing where price is going to go for the next couple days? Well, right here, as you can see, we sweeped this external liquidity, and we sort of made this little bit of a liquidity sweep. So you could draw out standard deviation on this manipulation leg, which would be this right here. And this could be our projections for the next week if we are going to be bullish. And we would look for this -2 to -2.5 area, which aligns perfectly with this liquidity. So that is where we could see happen right there. And then if we look at news for tomorrow, we are very, very heavy on news. We have all night, we're going to be having PMI we got PMI at 3:15 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. And we also have 8:30 a.m. news, which is unemployment claims, and 9:45 a.m. we have PMI. And we just have news the rest of the morning, 10 a.m., 10:30, 11 a.m. So since it's going to be so volatile, and especially since it's going to be so volatile in the overnight session, I do expect the morning action to be terrible, which is great for me because I'm not going to be able to trade in the morning anyways. So I'll definitely be looking for a setup in the afternoon. What I expect for the overnight session is, since we just had a big pump like this, I would expect us to retrace a little, and possibly with news, we're either going to pump or dump to probably a liquidity level in this range. And I would really like to see us dump down to take this liquidity and not reject off of it and just keep going through, because that could set us up for the rest of the week. We do have this daily for value gap that I really want to see us go through, and that is on NQ. Looking at ES, we also have the same daily for value gap. So I want to see us run through this And we also have this very small weekly imbalance that I'd like to see us run through. That would also break the bullish SMT. But as of right now, we are looking pretty bullish, especially that we do have these bottoming wicks. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. I mean, the action today was not that great, but I do expect better action coming tomorrow afternoon and also Friday this week. But next week, after we do take either the high or low of this range, which we have taken the low, but I do really want to see us reject. We also have this internal liquidity right here, and we have created equal highs with this, so I really hope we do take out these equal highs. We are very, very close. So there's that right now. Now, if we're trying to look for a down move, what I would like to see is on this 4-hour range, I want to see us reach around OTE. So where would this be at? OTE. This would be around here. So what I could expect us to see before heading lower is we may reach this negative 2.5 area, but I don't think that's going to happen because we do have a lot of bearish imbalances that have been respected. We have this 4-hour fair value gap that got respected, this 4-hour fair value gap, and we do have a bunch of equal highs here that will lead into this fair value gap again. We also have this miniature breaker. This is not really much of a breaker though, but yeah, I mean, I do hope that we do have good setups for the rest of this week. But yeah, this is really all I see. I do see us though, we're respecting off this daily very, very good. So it is going to have to take a massive sell-off. Hopefully in the overnight session, we just get a sell-off the entire time. We may also just see it be very volatile, especially because we have so much news. We may just keep seeing us pump and dump, which could create a lot of buy-side and sell-side engineered liquidity. So it could really go either way in the morning tomorrow, but I do still expect us to see an afternoon trade, especially because of the overnight session. I believe that is all I have to talk about. Yeah. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed my session, and I'll see you all in the next one.